Efésios, Ephesians. Chapter 1. Paulos, an apostolos of Yahusha HaMashiyach, by the will of Elohiym, to the Kadosh who are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Mashiach Yahusha. Grace be to you and peace from Elohiym our Father, and from the Adonai Yahusha HaMashiyach. Barak be the Elohiym and Father of our Adonai Yahusha HaMashiyach, who has barak us with all spiritual barak in heavenly places in Mashiach. Just as he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be kodesh without blame before him in love. Having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Yahusha HaMashiyach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, to praise and glory by his grace, where he has made us accepted in the Beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace, where he has excelled in us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will according to his good pleasure, that he has purposed in himself, that in the administration of the fullness of times he might gather together in one all things in Mashiach, both which are in heaven and which are on the earth, even in him, in whom we also have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who works all things after the counsel of his own will, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted in Mashiach, in whom you also trusted after you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that you believed, you were sealed with that Ruach Kodesh of promise, which is the Arab of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory. Therefore I also, after I heard of your faith in Adonai Yahusha, and love unto all the Kadosh, do not cease to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers, that the Elohiym of our Adonai Yahusha HaMashiyach, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you may know what the hope of his calling is, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the Kadosh, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to us who believe, according to the working of his mighty power, which he worked in Mashiach when he raised him from the dead, and set him at his own right hand in the heavens, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, and every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in that which is to come, and has put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all to the ecclesia, which is his body, the fullness of him that fills all in all. Chapter 2. And you who were dead in trespasses and sins, where in the past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now works in the children of disobedience, among whom we all also had our conversation in the past, in the concupiscence of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But Elohiym, who is rich in mercy for his great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, made us alive together with Mashiach. By grace you are saved. And has raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Mashiach Yahusha, that in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness toward us through Mashiach Yahusha. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Elohiym. Not by works, lest any man should boast, for we are his workmanship, created in Mashiach Yahusha unto good works, which Elohiym has ordained before that we should walk in them. Therefore remember that you were in the past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcised by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without Mashiach, being aliens from the citizenship of Yisra'el, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Elohiym in the world. But now in Mashiach Yahusha, you who sometimes were far off are made near by the blood of Mashiach. For he is our peace, who has made both one, and has broken down the middle wall of partition, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, to make in himself of two one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto Elohiym in one body by the stake, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were near. For through him we both have access by one Ruach unto the Father. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the Kadosh, and of the household of Elohiym, and are built upon the foundation of the apostolos and prophets, Yahusha HaMashiyach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building jointed together grows unto a Kodesh temple in the Adonai, in whom you also are built together for a dwelling place of Elohiym through the Ruach. Chapter 3. For this cause, I, Paulos, the prisoner of Yahusha HaMashiyach for you Gentiles, if you have heard of the administration of the grace of Elohiym, which is given me to you, how that by revelation he made known unto me the mystery, as I wrote before in few words, whereby when you read you may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Mashiach, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his Kodesh apostolos and prophets by the Ruach, that the Gentiles are fellow heirs and of the same body, and partakers of his promise in Mashiach by the gospel, of which I was made a minister, according to the gift of the grace of Elohiym, given unto me by the working of his power. Unto me, who am less than the least of all Kadosh in this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Mashiach, and to make all men see what the fellowship of the mystery is, which from the beginning of the world has been hid in Elohiym, who created all things by Yahusha HaMashiyach, to the intent now unto the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known by the ecclesia the numerous wisdom of Elohiym, according to the eternal purpose which he proposed in Mashiach Yahusha our Adonai, in whom we have assurance and access with confidence by the faith of him. Therefore I ask you not to fail at my tribulations for you, which is your glory. For this cause I bow my knees unto the Father of our Adonai, Yahusha HaMashiyach, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that he grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his Ruach in the inner man, that Mashiach may dwell in your hearts by faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all Kadosh what is the width and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Mashiach that surpasses knowledge, that you might be filled with all the fullness of Elohiym. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us, unto him be glory in the ecclesia by Mashiach Yahusha throughout all ages, forever and ever. Amen. Chapter 4. I, therefore, the prisoner of Adonai, exhort you to walk worthy of the calling that you are called, with all modesty and meekness, with long-suffering, enduring one another in love, working to keep the unity of the Ruach in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Ruach, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Adonai, one faith, one baptism, one Elohiym and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach. Therefore, he said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive, and gave gifts unto men. Now that he ascended, what it is but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostolos, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the Kadosh, for the work of the ministry, for the edification of the body of Mashiach, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohiym, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Mashiach, that we henceforth be no more children, fluctuated and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the artifice of men and trickery, whereby they lie in wait to deceive, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Mashiach, from whom the whole body, joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplies, according to the working in the measure of every part, makes increase of the body unto the edification of itself in love. I say this, therefore, and testify in Adonai, that you walk no further as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Elohiym through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who become apathetic, have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But you have not learned so, Mashiach. Otherwise you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahusha, that you put off from the previous behavior the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful concupiscence, and by renewed in the spirit of your mind, that you put on the new man, which after Elohiym is created in righteousness and true sanctification. Therefore, putting away falsehood, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the diabolos. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him work, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needs. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edification, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And do not grieve the Ruach Kodesh of Elohiym, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and outcry and blasphemy be put away from you with all malice. And be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohiym, for Mashiach's sake, has forgiven you. Chapter 5. Therefore, be imitators of Elohiym, as beloved children, and walk in love, as Mashiach also has loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohiym for a sweet-smelling fragrance. But porneia and all uncleanness or covetousness, do not name it, not even once among you, as proper kadosh. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor playing a prank, which are not convenient, but rather gratitude. For this you know, that no pornos, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater, has any inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of Elohiym. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things comes the wrath of Elohiym upon the children of disbelief. Do not be therefore partakers with them. For you were sometimes darkness, but now are you light in Adonai. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Ruach is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, testing what is well-pleasing unto Ruach, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather rebuke them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things rebuked are manifested by the light, for whatever manifested becomes visible. Therefore, he said, Awake you that sleep, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give you light. See then that you walk diligently, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be unwise, but understanding what all the will of Adonai is. And do not be intoxicated with wine, that is excess, but be filled with the Ruach, speaking to yourselves with tehillim and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to Adonai, being grateful always for all things unto Elohiym and the Father in the name of our Adonai, Yahusha HaMashiyach, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Elohiym. Gaini, submit yourselves unto your own men as unto Adonai. For the man is the head of the Gaini, even as Mashiach is the head of the ecclesia, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the ecclesia is subject unto Mashiach, so let the Gaini be to their own men in everything. Men, love your Gaini, even as Mashiach also loved the ecclesia and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious ecclesia, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be kodesh without blemish. So should men love their Gaini as their own bodies. He that loves his Gaini loves himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes it and cherishes it, even as Adonai the ecclesia. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his Gaini, and they two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Mashiach and the ecclesia. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his Gaini, even as himself, and the Gaini see that she reverence her man. Chapter 6. Children, obey your parents in Adonai, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. And fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of Adonai. Slaves, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Mashiach, not with remissness as men-pleasers, but as the slaves of Mashiach, doing the will of Elohiym from the heart, with kindness being a slave as to Adonai and not to men, knowing that whatever good thing any man does, the same he shall receive of Adonai, whether he is a slave or free. And masters, do the same things unto them, desisting from threatening, knowing that your Adonai is also in heaven, neither there is partiality with him. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Adonai and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohiym, that you may be able to stand against the trickery of the diabolos. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, take unto you the whole armor of Elohiym, that you may be able to stand firm in the evil day, and having done all, stand firm. Stand firm, therefore, having your loins girt with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet bound with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, where you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Elohiym. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Ruach, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all kadosh. And for me, that words may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly, to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that I may speak boldly as I should speak. But that you also may know me, and how I practice, Tychicus, a beloved brother and faithful minister in Adonai, shall make known to you all things, whom I have sent unto you for the same purpose, that you might know our affairs, and that he might comfort your hearts. Peace be to the brethren, and love with faith from Elohiym the Father and Adonai Yahusha HaMashiyach. Grace be with all them that love our Adonai Yahusha HaMashiyach genuineness. Amen.